Does anybody want to taste?
Yeah, Tam.
Yeah, Tam?
I'll get in there. I feel like it matches what I'm wearing. Can I use this again?
Yeah.
Whoa.
Hey everyone, I'm Nea with the Food52 Test Kitchen, and today I'm going to show you how to make a cookie cake, specifically a brown butter cookie cake with a salted maple frosting. And it's especially fun because it is our COO's birthday today. Her name is Claudia. So at the end, I think I'm going to put some candles in it, and then maybe we'll sing for her. We'll see. So this is a pretty standard cookie recipe, I would say. The only thing that kind of takes a little bit more time about this recipe is the fact that we're browning butter, and it also has to cool. So I'm gonna use kind of a medium saucepan for this, and then I have 2 sticks of butter. And it doesn't really matter if it's at room temperature or if it's cold because we're gonna melt it anyway. Usually when I'm browning butter, or just in general when I'm cooking, I kind of will what's it called when you lean. I kind of lean towards using really small saucepans. I don't know why. I feel like it always ends up overflowing or kind of coming out of the bowl. But when it comes to brown butter, I would recommend using a saucepan that has a little bit more surface area because it's gonna brown faster. So with brown butter, it goes from brown to burnt very quickly. So you don't wanna walk away for too long. And the thing is too, it's like once it starts to get really brown, I would remove it earlier rather than later, because even if you take it off the heat from the saucepan is gonna keep kind of like cooking the butter. Ooh, it's starting to sizzle already. Okay, the 2 reasons why I love a cookie cake is because basically it's just one ginormous chocolate chip cookie, and that is probably one of my all-time favorite sweet treats or baked goods. And then secondly, which kind of goes into why I'm making this for Claudia's birthday, is because it's a really good alternative to making a whole birthday cake. You know, you kind of just make the dough, add it to the cake pan or tart pan, which is actually what we're using today, and then you can just kind of decorate it in whatever fun way you want and put some candles in it, and that's it. So yeah, really easy and delicious. So I'm just keeping the heat on medium. So what's gonna happen is that the milk solids are gonna start to foam and then sink to the bottom, and that's what's gonna caramelize and give the butter a really nice brown color, and also is gonna give you that really nutty aroma. And this usually takes anywhere from 5 to 8 minutes. So I would say this is a very standard chocolate chip cookie recipe. The only thing that's different about it is that we're using brown butter, and that's really the only thing that takes a while, and that's because we're melting it, we're browning it, and then it also has to cool for us to be able to use it in the recipe. So with that being said, if you don't feel like you have time to do all that the day of, you could make the brown butter the day before, or even a few days before. You could always freeze it. All right, it's starting to sizzle, and the milk solids are starting to kind of float or come to the top. I don't know if you can see. Brown butter is my favorite flavor. It's so good. And I think it also pairs really nicely with the maple that we're gonna add both in the cookie dough and also in the frosting. This is loud. But the reason why we have to let it come to a solid again is because if you use melted butter in cookies or in baking, it can kind of change the outcome of whatever it is you're making. And I have made a lot of cookies with melted brown butter, but the texture is just gonna be different. So sometimes it can make the cookie a little greasier, it can make it a little bit denser, it can also just affect the overall structure as well. So even though it works well for some cookies, like for example, I make these brown butter oat cookies and they're kind of flat and chewy and they're really good, I just don't really wanna mess with it in this recipe. Okay, so this has really started to brown and you can see it's really foamy. All right, I'm just gonna transfer it into a heat-proof bowl. And do you see all those little milk solids in the bottom? Just make sure, don't leave those in the pot. I always want to say pan, that's not right. Yeah, just make sure to get everything in there. And you could, what? You can smell it from over there? Ah, I love brown butter. So I would either, if you have a lot of time, you can just let it cool at room temperature, or you could put it in the fridge. Or sometimes if I'm at home and I need to use it quickly, I'll put it in the freezer for a little bit. And then you can kind of go and give it a stir every 20 minutes or something like that. Ah, it's hot. Here is my brown butter swap. It has fingerprints in it because I was trying to see if it was softened. So now I'm gonna cream the brown butter and sugar together. And you know how I was saying before about how it goes from brown to burnt really quickly. I wouldn't say this is burnt, but it's definitely, you can see the brown pieces are, it's definitely on the brown, darker side, like not almost burnt. I also popped this in the microwave for a little, just to soften it, and I think I softened it a little bit too much. It's okay though. So to the brown butter, I'm also gonna add white sugar and brown sugar. I can with confidence say that I would probably, like, every chocolate chip cookie recipe has a combination of brown sugar and white sugar in it. And and that's because brown sugar is gonna add that kind of softness and chewiness and has almost like a molasses-y caramel rich flavor. And then the white sugar is gonna add that like really like that like true sweetness to the cookie, and also helps cookie spread, which we don't have to worry about here because we're making a cookie cake, and also kind of, you know, adds to that crispiness and tenderness of the cookie. So now I'm gonna beat this on medium high until the sugar and butter is really well combined and it's kind of like light and fluffy. I like this mixer, but the one thing I will say is it's like low is not low. Like number 2, it's like a fast, like the low setting is fast. Wait, what does Caesar have to say about it? Oh, I saw that. I walked in when they were doing that and I was like, that's smart. I usually put like if I'm whipping cream, I'll do like a kitchen towel over it, but the saran wrap is smart. But yeah, I think that this just proves Caesar's point. And sometimes, honestly, chocolate chip cookies work fine just using like a wooden spoon. The purpose of mixing the butter and sugar together isn't really to like incorporate air, it's really just to mix them together. Yeah, so this recipe it has been on the site for a little bit, and it's actually the first recipe I ever developed for Food52. And yeah, it was a very exciting moment in my life, I will say, as a freelancer. I had kind of just started getting my foot in the door freelancing, and yeah, I think this was and I just remember seeing the published photo online and seeing the beautiful photo that they had taken, and I was so excited. I think I sent it to like everyone in my family, and yeah, it was great. So it's kind of fun to be able to, actually it's really interesting because now I look back on the recipe, and I was actually telling Tam this earlier, I'm like, wow, I used to write my recipes so differently than I do now. And it's kind of cool to be able to see the progress and just, you know, the differences, I guess, I would say. I think it was 2021 or 2022, so not that long ago. But now I'm gonna add in a little bit of vanilla. Now I'm gonna add in 2 room temperature eggs as well. Oh, I feel like some people get mad when you don't add the eggs into a bowl first before adding it to whatever you're making, because you can get the eggshell in there. But I don't know, I kind of just trust that like if an eggshell gets in there, I'm gonna just like see it and take it out. I feel like it's just like an extra bowl. Yeah, I feel like we lost like a solid 1.5 tablespoons. There we go. Some of these sugar pieces are just not mixing. I think like when I used to bake, I've always just really liked the salted butter. I would always just, you know, season to taste. But I think as I just got more into like professional recipe developing and wanted someone else to be able to make the recipe exactly how I want it to taste, you know, I kind of realized that I have to add specific measurements for salt then. And then it's a lot easier to do that and be specific if you call for unsalted butter. So here I have some flour, all-purpose flour. This is about 2 cups and 1/4. And then I have a little bit of baking soda and also some baking powder. The baking powder is obviously gonna help to, you know, let the cookie rise. And then the baking soda is what helps to give cookies their spread, which obviously isn't that important for this recipe because we're just making a cake. But it also gives the chocolate chip cookie that kind of classic acidic flavor that a lot of the cookies have, especially the cookie dough. Oh, salt. So in the recipe, in the original recipe, I use salted butter, and then it says to only use 1/4 of a teaspoon of kosher salt, but since we're using unsalted butter, I'm gonna increase that to about 3/4 of a teaspoon. I think you could get away with using up to 1 teaspoon. And this is Diamond Crystal Kosher Salt. So if you only have table salt at home, definitely half that at least. When it comes to cookie dough, or when I'm making a cake, or honestly for most things when it comes to baking, when I add the flour, I like to just mix it in with a spatula. And that is just to make sure that we don't overmix the batter. Because if you overmix cookie dough, the cookies can become kind of dense, and that's definitely not what we want. And then once most of the flour has been incorporated, I'm gonna add in the chocolate chips too. Does anybody want to taste?
Yeah, Tam.
Yeah, Tam?
I'll get in there. I feel like it matches what I'm wearing. Can I use this?
Yeah, use a little. They're kind of weird to eat out of though, because it's like they're so like
whoa.
deep.
That
Do you
like
like
took
it?
a second, but like once it hit. That was good.
You should say that into her lap.
Whoa. That was
Wow, getting so much hype.
really good. Freeze that.
Thanks, Sam. So I've also preheated the oven to 350 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm actually gonna grab a cookie scoop because I find that's the easiest way to kind of transfer the cookie dough to the cake pan. So I really like using cookie scoops when making cookies. Then it just makes it so that every cookie is the same size. And even for like cake batters, or I don't know, whatever it is you're making, I don't know, it's just kind of fun. And for muffins too. So normally I would let the cookie dough chill for about an hour in the fridge, and that is to kind of let the dough firm up, and also for flavor development purposes. And it's by Deboyer, and it is a perforated tart pan with a removable bottom, and I really like it because the perforation helps with air circulation, and it makes the edges really nice and evenly browned. And what's really great about it too is it comes with this kind of like liner, so it acts as a reusable parchment paper, if you will. I'm gonna kind of like flatten it out first, and then I'm gonna put it in the oven. So it doesn't have to be completely even on top. It's gonna kind of spread out and even out as it bakes. Now I'm gonna bake this at 350 degrees until it's nice and golden brown and the edges are crispy. Forgot to say the time, 22 to 25 minutes. So while it's in the oven, I think I'm gonna go back into our prop section and pick out a cake stand. I think I'm gonna go for something colorful. We also have a lot of glass options, so probably something in glass. Sometimes when I'm making a cake, I don't know whether I should do a platter or something with a stem, but because it's for a birthday, I think I'm gonna go with the stem just because I feel like it makes it a little bit more festive. So yeah, let's head back over there. So I took the cake out of the oven, and I'm actually letting it cool right now because obviously if we put buttercream directly on a warm cake, it's definitely gonna melt. We're using a small amount of frosting for this because the cake is so sweet, so we don't want a ton of frosting on there. So when you're making a buttercream, it's really important that you start off with softened butter. So I have about a half of a stick here, which is 1/4 of a cup, and I'm gonna just cream this lightly. Now I'm gonna add the rest of the ingredients. I'm gonna add some powdered sugar and then a little bit of maple syrup because this is a maple frosting, and then some vanilla, and then I also have a little bit of salt. I will say I have kind of a love-hate relationship when it comes to buttercreams because on the one hand, they're super easy to make. They're very stable. You can decorate it. You can pipe it really well and it holds a shape. But the downside is that they are really sweet. So usually if I'm making a cake or if I'm frosting a cake, I will make like a Swiss meringue buttercream instead. Vanilla. With vanilla, I almost never measure vanilla. I kind of just go with like what I think looks right. And I'm doing about half a teaspoon here. Even if you did a whole teaspoon, it's still gonna be really good. And then I'm gonna add a generous pinch of salt. And definitely don't skip the salt, because the salt is gonna help to balance out that sweetness that you're gonna get from the sugar and the maple. And I will warn you, it is a pretty sweet frosting. So again, that's why we're not making a ton of it. So now I'm just gonna whip it on high until it's really light and fluffy. All right, I think that's as good as we're gonna get. I guess I should have shown you guys before what it looked like, but this is what it looks like now. It doesn't look that much, but I promise you it did kind of double in size or in volume. But you can see there's some air in there and it's pretty fluffy. It's perfect.
Oh my God.
Claudia, welcome and happy birthday.
Thank you.
So, I made you a cookie cake. It's a brown butter cookie cake with a salted maple frosting.
Oh my God, this
Yeah.
sounds delicious.
Thank you.
Very good.
Nice. Okay, gorgeous.
Beautiful.
So this is a salted maple frosting.
It's perfect. So do we get to eat it now?
Oh yeah. Wait, I'm just gonna chop up a little chocolate
Of course you are.
really quickly. So you could just use chocolate chips as well, but we happen to have some fancy chocolate bars, and I think it looks prettier than just chocolate chips. So you sprinkle it right on top. A little extra. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you guys. Happy birthday, dear Claudia.
So good.
To you.
Oh, you're the best. Thank you, babe. Thank you.
Happy birthday, Claudia.
Okay. Yay. Not trick candles this time. Oh my God, you're so sweet. Thank you for doing it.
No, of course. Okay, I'm gonna.
Please go in there and grab me slice.
Yeah, come get a slice,
Cookie
guys.
cake. Thanks, guys.
Thanks,
Oh
Claudia.
my God, thanks, babe.
Love you.
Yes.
Have fun with your friends tonight. Here you go. So I was cutting very generous slices of this cookie cake at first, but this is how to make a really easy cookie cake with a salted maple buttercream frosting. I could have probably done a better job decorating it, but she still looks really cute. And if you want the recipe, you can find it down below in the description. And I will see you in the next video. If you make this cake, I would love to hear what you think.